here?
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today, we are talking about The Pitt Season 2. It has just wrapped this last week. Oh my gosh, we love this show.
Yeah.
I think it has become such a staple of modern television. Gosh.
You know, and I want to point out that we were not on the train of season 1 when it was coming out. We watched it more like a binge, I would say.
Yes, definitely.
And it was really good, and we were kind of wondering how season 2 would be as a weekly, and I feel like I just now realized that because I never found a problem with that. It was, I feel like, a really good weekly watch, to the point where we never pointed out, like, oh, this is slow as a weekly watch or anything like that. We never had any problems with it, which I think is kind of awesome. So binge or weekly, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting to this show whenever you do, is always going to be a good time, I would say.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a lot to talk about for this season. Before we delve too deep into it,
What's the vibe?
oh my gosh, Alicia, how are your vibes this weekend?
My vibes are good. I'm excited. I feel like I can, despite it being really cold and wet yesterday where we are, I feel like I can smell summer coming. I'm like, it's almost here. And I love summer, so. Anticipation. Excited. How are you?
I am surprisingly awake. Yesterday I went to my mom's house to see her for her birthday weekend. And we saw a bit of a late showing for The Mummy, Lee Cronin's The Mummy. And then we didn't end up getting back home until like 11:30. And dude, I passed out. And also having a 2-hour drive to think about Lee Cronin's The Mummy is like maybe too much time.
Too much time to reflect. If you can't talk about it for 2 hours, we're not going to make a podcast video. No, and I will say I don't plan on seeing that in theaters just because I love horror, but I will definitely admit that some things are too scary for me, at least in theaters. Theaters, you're trapped there with however loud they decide it to be. I feel like after Smile 2, I'm like hesitant with some horror movies.
No.
That was a rough experience. Not because the movie was... I liked the movie, but oh my god, it was so loud.
Needlessly loud.
I mean, it stressed me out. I did not have a good day after that. So after that, I'm pretty picky sometimes with my horror movies.
No, in the theater, because what I do when I watch horror movies, especially ones that are trying to use, like, a lot of sound to get a reaction out of your audience, I often, like, put my fingers in my ears just because I'll still hear everything.
Yeah.
It just won't be, like, an ungodly sound level.
Yeah.
And then that way I, like, don't have to look away from the screen at any point. Like, if it's scary, I'll still be able to recognize that it's scary and it's not just a loud sound that's jump scaring me.
Yeah.
And what I thought was really funny is I was just casually doing that in the movie theater, and then I look over and my mom is copying me as well. Oh,
That's hilarious.
I love her.
Speaking of not being able to look away, let's get back to the pit, baby.
Yep. So we are going to go ahead and put up a spoiler warning. We are going to be talking spoilers on the pit. That might include some stuff from season 1, but definitely we are going to deep dive season 2. So we highly recommend this show. It's currently streaming all 2 seasons on HBO Max. You can see that right now. And we highly recommend that you do. It's a great show.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So I wanted to quickly kind of recap our thoughts on season 1. So I think neither of us have rewatched this since we watched it originally last year. So just kind of, we just have some memories.
Yeah.
I think that this has such an amazing cast. I think
Absolutely.
it is such a well-written season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the combination of these two things are like near perfect. I think the pitch of just a day in the life in this hospital, specifically the emergency room, I think it is so high energy. There's so much stuff happening. You never feel bored, but it also doesn't feel like you're rushing through character moments with your cast.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think it's just like I think that first season balances everything so well.
I agree. I think it's a great first season. There's a reason everybody was talking about it. It got really good word of mouth, which is why we did catch that train at some point. Yeah, and I had not seen a crazy amount of medical shows. I'd seen a good chunk of Grey's Anatomy. By now, it's probably not even half. Because there's just so many seasons.
Grey's Anatomy is one of those shows that I'm like, on principle, never going to start watching because
It's just so long. It's like The Simpsons. Like, I can't believe it's that long. But at least I think The Simpsons episodes, I'm guessing they're like shorter.
yeah.
So at least they've got that. Yeah, no, I've watched, I don't know, probably 13-ish seasons of Grey's Anatomy. And then I stopped, and yeah, I've never started again. That's too much. Too much. And then I've heard and seen bits of The Good Doctor. My mom grew up on ER, so anytime I talk about the Pitt and Noah Wiley, Noah Wiley?
That was wild.
Oh, I don't know, man. Noah, she knows what I'm talking about. And she even watched a little bit of that, even though she does not watch medical shows. She's very like queasy, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
And then I'm trying to think any other medical shows. There's a lot more out there. I'm
Sure.
totally blanking right now. But yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot. So this was pretty good. And I like that for the most part people are saying it's very accurate. It's the most accurate medical show they've seen. And then yeah, I love a good ensemble cast, strong ensemble cast. I'm a very big character person because I'm such a book reader, so I like kind of have to be interested in the characters, or else why else are you reading? So that very much translates to movies and shows as well. So lots to love here.
Absolutely. Gosh.
And season 1 just balances that really well. It's very, I would say, very tricky, just because not crazy ton of movies and TV shows do this super well, to balance that amount of characters. Not only your main cast, but also the night shift coming in and out in bits and pieces. And then, of course, your patients. You just have so many patients. It's really hard to balance that, and they do that really well in the Pitt. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And then I'm going to go off of that and say basically everything I just said about season 1. I definitely feel at least like 90% of that for season 2.
I agree. I still think overall they're doing a solid job. Obviously, there's some frustrating things that happen in this season, but it is supposed to be frustrating, so it's a little bit of a tug of war. When I think about it, it's like, well, it's hard to see this one character getting into this headspace and treating everyone horribly, but we see why, and so it's not an excuse, and it doesn't make it any, less frustrating to watch. But at least I feel like writing wise, it does make sense. Unlike, I'm thinking right now, I really don't want to hate on this show, but I think of Abbott Elementary.
Sure.
Right now, I think their writing team is kind of all over the place, and that's really disappointing because we've seen how good they can be. So it sticks out even more when they're not making some great writing choices. So at least in the Pitt, things can be frustrating, and I can still believe that it's written well.
Yeah.
Overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. There's something to be done, said about the difficulty of writing characters with self-destructive behaviors.
Yeah.
And especially if they aren't clocking what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can see that being a super hard thing to write, and I would say even sometimes act.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pitt, with Dr. Robbie this season, does a really good job of kind of highlighting that.
Yeah, because the whole point is that they know what they're doing enough because all they want to do is burn bridges, because they don't want to leave any loose strings. I guess trigger warning because he definitely does have like suicidal tendencies this season for sure, and it's talked about quite a lot. It's not like even a headcanon thing. It's very much like this is what's meant to be coming across. But it makes sense because he just wants everything to be fine when he's gone and nobody to like hurt the least amount of people. So he's hurting them in advance. It's like it's messed up logic, but it's very real logic that happens every day. So I do think it's good representation. And it could be good like if somebody is doing this in your life, then maybe check in on them and be like, well, I've seen this is a possibility on why they're doing this, so maybe let me check in. So, yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to watch, though, because then I see people, bringing back clips from season 1 when he was so happy, and he's just at the top of his game, and so it's hard to see that comparison, because ultimately we do like Dr. Robbie, or I do, and I am rooting for him to be kind, but also like get better because obviously he's hurting. This is not him like in his heart. It's just a bad headspace for him right now. So I hope season 3 we can maybe build back up. So I don't know. It's just sad to watch. It's like
Yeah, it has a lot of negative emotions attached to it.
yeah.
But I think all of those feelings are like very intentional.
Yeah.
Which is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe reining this back a little bit. So going into season 2, the biggest things that we kind of knew going into it, we knew that Langdon was going to be back, which was a big okay. And we knew that it was going to be on the 4th of July.
Yes. And I feel like from the trailers we knew we were going to get a little bit more of Abbott, which was fun. I think people were excited for. But yeah, the big things were Langdon was coming back, which, I know there's like two sides of that because some people didn't like how he acted last season, but then other people were excited for him to come back and see how much he's grown, and where that whole thing would lead. And there's definitely some bad blood between him and Robbie in that trailer. And then, yeah, people loved Abbott, so I think they were excited to have more of him. So, and then Emma, I think, was also in the trailer, and people were saying that she looked really sweet, so they were excited for her.
And then also the trailer made it look like they were going to lose power or some
yes.
kind. They hinted towards what the big event of this season was going to be.
Ugh. Yeah. That's crazy.
So overall, I was very excited, especially following season 1.
Yeah.
And I think the pitch, I think it's very interesting that I feel like going forward, most of these seasons are going to take place on like a big day or event.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the first season, like the biggest thing was like a concert happened to be going on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a very interesting kind of choice.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like after season 1, I had seen a lot of discussion where people were saying it should be on big holidays. And then that's exactly what happened. Now with season 2, I feel like people started talking about they wanted more of the night shift. Some people were even saying they wanted an entire season of the night shift. And now that's very clear that that's not what they're doing or not what they're going to do anytime soon. So I think that change is interesting. Not that that's necessarily good or bad. It's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
I'm curious where else. I think night shift would be another really big change.
Mm-hmm.
I think comparable to going to a holiday.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there's anything else the show can do as kind of like a setting.
Yeah.
To really switch it up. I'm very curious.
Mm.
Anyways, so diving into season 2, into the conversation, into the meat of it, what are some of the best parts of this season?
Gosh, I loved anything with Langdon and Mel, separately and together. I think a lot of people are starting to ship them more and more, which I think is fun. I don't think it's a thing where it's like it has to happen. But I do love both of those characters, so I'm like, I like that they're, that people are excited about them. I think it is kind of funny that the actors are very much like, no, we're just friends, and everyone's like, you're not. I don't know. I always find that disconnect a little funny.
And then it's like, who are you? What friend of yours are you treating like this?
No, actually, why are you the people pointing out every time Langdon is around Mel, he hides his wedding ring is really funny.
That's wild.
And people have theorized that he might not be married and just kind of wearing it for appearances, but we don't know that one way or another. So, regardless, I love them both, and I've loved their storylines this season. I think they've done a really great job.
I super loved Mel getting a chance to step up. I thought she
Yes.
was really great in season 1, but she didn't really have, other than like some cases that were pretty big.
Yeah.
She didn't have like her own thing really going on. I really loved that they gave her like 2 really big things to do this season.
I agree.
I thought that was a great level up for her.
Yeah. And then Langdon's, I thought, was just wonderful. Not only is it very important to show, just, how did Whitaker phrase it? Because I'm skipping forward a little bit, but the last episode, Javati had this scene where she was like clogging everybody's tea. And she called him an addict, and then Whitaker said something about substance abuse disorder, something like that. Maybe that's what he said. Anyways, I think it's very important to show that. And I also love that they didn't have him relapse. I feel like that's very nice to see. Not that he can't in the future. I mean, obviously, like, at any point he could. But I really hope he doesn't, because it's exciting to see him do so well. And I really loved that scene where he has to do this surgery or something that's really, really hard. And if he messes up, he paralyzes them. And he kills it. And
That was a great scene.
yeah, and then you see him walk out and you think, like, maybe he's having anxiety and is going to freak out. But then he just kind of exhales and has this look that he's really proud of himself. Like, he's like, I still got it. That's just awesome to see. And I loved seeing the whole internet also loving that scene. So I'm just very happy for him. I'm happy to see him now more accurately, I would say. Last season, obviously, he had a very big ego and was not treating certain people very well. But that was him not at his lowest, but just struggling and not really admitting that he was struggling. So I'm happy to see him more himself, because he's much nicer as himself. So, anyways, those are my 2 highlights. Oh, and then Dr. Alashimi. Oh my gosh. At first, with the AI thing, I was like, I don't know, girl. I'm not really for it. And I think everyone was thinking that, too. They were like, ugh. But I don't know. She, like, really came around. I'm like, I love you. And I want you to be in the show a lot more. I don't know what that's going to look like with where we left off with her. But I think that actress does such a great job. And I hope she gets recognition for that. We'll get to Emmy's conversation later. But she really grew on me quite a lot.
No, absolutely. I love kind of the idea. She comes in not really knowing the idea, but she has a lot of ideas. I think, like, that's such a, like, everyone knows someone like that.
Yeah.
And then, but what I think really helps her become such a endearing character is she very quickly adapts. And she watches, she observes, and, like, she's still the boss and, like, a superior level in the pit, but she's not bulldozing anything over.
She's not trying to, like, take over and just change a million things. I think at first her introduction was very purposeful when, just immediately showing that she was friends with Gloria, who Robbie does not like. I think that was very intentional to have the audience be in a headspace where we're like, I'm immediately unsure about her. And then getting to see her kindness and how she helps people. And it's interesting. It's almost like she gets to take the hero role where Robbie's kind of becoming not the villain, but like very self-destructive. So it's interesting. I feel like that helps lift her up when she gets to be like the nice attending versus he's now being really like mean attending. Just interesting.
It's very interesting. Her character, I think, is so great.
I agree.
I think the reveal on her is very heartbreaking. I think there's a lot of comparisons between her and Robbie, especially in the idea that even if they need to step away, there's a denial in their need to step away.
Yeah.
Or almost like an innate inability to do so. And I love you kind of end up seeing Robbie inherently arguing against himself in his arguments with her.
Yeah.
I think that's all done really well.
Yeah, I see a lot of people comparing Robbie's treatment of her versus how he dealt with Langdon. I think they're two different situations.
Oh, very different.
But I am a little bit disappointed that more people, or at least I haven't seen more people compare her and Robbie. Because I think Robbie, in my opinion, is just as much in need of help and needing to step away, just as much as Alashimi, but he's able to hide his more, whereas she might not be able to if, she has a seizure in the wrong time and place. Now, obviously, like, he could have a bad moment where he just goes too far on the wrong person, and that could get turned in. But I feel like with his appearance-wise, he's able to manage it more, even though we know he's not.
And I like that the people who know him also aren't tricked.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope they touch on that more next season. It'll be interesting to see, like, because I do ultimately agree that she should not be working right now. I think she needs to get some medical help first and actually be cleared. I know she's saying that she was cleared, but people online are saying like it wouldn't happen that quickly in real life, so they think that she's lying. So I just want to see where we end up next season with both of them. Does he end up staying because he feels like he can't leave her? And then where does that leave both of them? I have no idea. So we'll see.
No, I really hope Robbie does step away. I know we were talking about, like, so if Dr. Alashimi's out of the job and Robbie still clearly needs something that's not this bike trip and that's not working, who ends up being the one in charge. And we were talking about how that would be a great place for Dr. Ellis from the night shift to step up.
Yeah.
Where we see her in season 3 joining the day shift. I think that is a great pitch.
Yeah. And I think she mentions in this season, something like maybe she wanted to look at day shift, or so, they're setting it up pretty well at that being the solution where Robbie can still step away, but Alashimi can also step away and get some help and actually get cleared first before she comes back.
God, I do hope we see her again. She's
Yeah.
and that actress in general. I think she absolutely kills it this season.
I agree.
And especially with her introduction, it's definitely a bit of an uphill battle for a show that starts out with so many beloved characters in this cast.
Yeah.
And something else I'm going to go ahead and shout out in the best parts. I think they incorporate their new characters into this cast really well.
I agree. Our new characters, we already talked a lot about Dr. Alashimi, but then Ogilvy and Joy are two
New student doctors.
Yeah, new student. There's so many. I don't know the terms. I'm sorry. But yes, new student doctors. And then Emma is a new nurse. So clock it.
Love Emma.
And those are the main ones that I can think of. And then that.
Oh, I also want to point out, and I don't think he was in season 1. If he was
No,
definitely
Dr.
not.
Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr.
He's
Cruz
new.
Hernandez, played by Luke Tenney, who's also in Abbott Elementary as a supporting character every now and then.
He was like, the second he came on my screen, I was excited for him. I'm like, oh, I need to see more of you. You're awesome. And yeah, and then I think that helps because in the back of my mind, I knew he was in Abbott Elementary. I just had to look it up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why I liked him, because I like him in that show. Good for him. I'm so happy for him, and I hope he becomes more of the night shift. Like, he's in it more.
Something else I really like about introducing these new characters, and even the show in general, with its character work, I love that they don't lean away from having very flawed characters. And I think they're able to have these characters and really show so many sides of them.
Yeah.
Even characters that are on the unlikable side, they're still, end of the day, doing work to save people.
Yeah.
And their ability to still do good. I think the show highlights the complexity of humans really well. And I think the new characters that they bring in also really highlight that. You can have characters that are very likable, and kind of show some backsides to that in certain environments, and then you can have characters that are super unlikable.
Yeah.
Ogilvy. And
At first. I feel like he grows on you a little bit.
he still has an unlikability streak. To be fair, there's a huge shift in his character, and we really don't get to see where he lands on that. But there's so many. It's just fascinating to see so many different characters in so many different places in their arcs throughout the series.
Yeah.
And you never, like, by the time it ends, so many different people are at so many different places in their journey. I would say this season more so than last season. You leave a lot of characters in very, very differing places on their, like, season arcs. Like, some of them wrap up and it's like, yep, this is where we're heading the whole season. But there's a lot of them who, like, the big things are still to come or are happening, which I think adds a really, like, grounded element.
Yeah, it's very realistic. 'Cause
Yeah.
for it, like in real life, most of these conflicts would not be resolved. So, yeah, it didn't take me a lot of thought, because at first, I mean, yes, you do feel a little like this is unfinished, but then you think about it and it's like, I actually like that choice. So yeah, I agree with that.
Trying to think what other pros there are. Going through. Oh, I'm gonna say I really liked how intense the cybersecurity shutdown was.
Yeah.
Like, you see that being set up as, like, the cliffhanger, and then, like, seeing that all kind of get set up for manual work, I thought was really fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And then seeing that go wrong, seeing the fixes around it.
Yeah.
There's something I think so exhilarating about watching people, like, work in a system that's always changing and always has like exceptions and bigger things. It's almost like watching an ant farm. Like, watching these people adapt and change stuff on such a fast pace. I think it's just so, it's like almost hypnotizing.
Yeah, props to them, because I could never. So it really does take someone very special and smart. It's not even like you can't even be, you have to have intelligence for it and the right adaptability skills. Like, empathy helps a lot, even though, you know, they've touched on not all healthcare workers have empathy like they should. It takes quite a lot of people, and then they have to work like 12-hour shifts, and like, it's crazy. I can't imagine. So props to them, thankful for them. So
I'm also going to say I like a lot of the patient stories. I think in the first season, there were very memorable stories. I think there's a really good amount of stories here that I think have lasting impressions. I'll circle back to a difference I have when we go to the next section.
Yes.
But overall, I really like the selection of like the patients and the things that we're dealing with in the emergency room this go around.
Do you want to highlight some of your favorite storylines?
Sure.
Some best parts?
Might as well.
And I feel like, well, I don't know. For myself, speaking for myself, my favorites are more so what I think are the best executed. It's hard to say favorites because so many of these storylines are very sad. So it's not like, I love these. It's more like, wow, this was really well done. So yeah, just
Yeah, absolutely.
just
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna start with the patient who comes in for the essay test that oh my god, Dana. Gosh. Is performing. I think that whole plot was done so well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I fear they're wanting Catherine Lanessa to get another go at an award sweep.
Period.
Oh gosh, and she's so good.
It's very important, and I don't know, it actually like shocked me kind of how inhumane the entire process is after going through something so horrible, and then how they touch on like the kits once they go through all of that, they're not even picked up in time half the time, so it takes forever for them to get into evidence if they ever do. So it's very sad to see, but I think it was really well done, and very important as well. And I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I know one of your things was that there weren't a lot of strong patient performances, but I would say if I had to pick one, it would be that
She's
girl.
definitely, I think, one of the stronger ones.
She is definitely one of, if not the strongest one in my opinion for this season. So I don't know. It'd be nice if she could get maybe some recognition for that, but I think she's in too many episodes to be a guest. That's the problem. Is I feel like a guest star performance should be qualified in minutes out of the entire show. Like if they're in 10% of the show minute wise, then they could be a guest star. Versus what I think the Emmys does is they do like if you're in one episode you can be a guest star, and I think for shows like this that's hard to do. Even like we were thinking Sam
Lotus.
Rockwell, White Lotus. It's like he barely missed the cut, but he would have been such a great guest star nom, and so I wonder if they'll ever change that.
I
It'd
hope
be nice.
so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as like the making of shows change, I feel like you kind of have to adjust how they're being recognized and awarded. Some of my favorites.
That's on my list too. That storyline was on my list as well.
Yes. I'm gonna say Louis coming in and his passing away.
Yeah.
And kind of the impact that like one person can have, just a patient on doctors. Yeah. I thought that was done really well. The kid having the psychosis from the library. He I think really stood out as a case.
Yeah. I wish we found out more about that. I don't know if that ever got a solid conclusion.
He went up to be tested for psychosis and look at a plan like that. I think that's just kind of what you get for just the baseline people, the first people that these patients like see before they go on to get like long-term health.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly probably speaking to the job. You have so many people come in and you're likely to never see them again. And you look at even Mohan and Ogilvy, where like you make a mistake with the patient and then they, if Ogilvy stayed in the ER, he would not have known that patient passed away. I think there's a real kind of, there's a hard let go on patients, which I think can still be super impacting. And I think this show, like specifically with that plot line, focuses on that pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. I also like how one of the only complete follow-ups we get to see with the patient is at the end when Langdon goes up and follows up with one of his patients. I think that's really nice that that's one of the only solid conclusions we get on how a patient's doing, because, and having him be the one to do that, I feel like that makes sense for him, that especially on his first day back, he kind of want to follow through and make sure that he, I guess, did things right and had a good day. I don't know. I think that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Mel's sister as a patient I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
I think that actress does a really great job.
Mm-hmm.
And then her dynamic with Mel and with Langdon I thought was a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Ooh, there is an episode. So Roxy, the patient who is kind of being led into death, that's a long-standing arc. And I will say that alone was never a huge standout to me, especially considering how much time it was taking.
It felt like a lot of the same thing. Like, it just felt like, okay, we get it as an audience that this is where it's going. You're not really adding to this a whole lot. It's not like we're like, hurry up and choose to die, but it's like, add something to this. If you're gonna spend screen time, like, this is important, this is sad, and the story like this deserves better, in my opinion.
I feel like we also, unfortunately for this storyline, we watched Dying for Sex, which is such a deep dive into this story, this kind of story. And I think that adds so many different layers to this conversation about, like, someone who knows that they're about to die and preparing for that process.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it'd be nice if maybe they gave her a little bit more to do with that, especially since she had so many family members with her. I feel like there was opportunity to do that, and it just kind of felt like they were doing the same thing over and over again. It's almost like they were just waiting. I think that's a shame.
But when they combined, there was an episode, the episode where she does pass away, with the episode of the patient who's very large, and he had to have, like, a really in-depth surgery that had a, like, 50% survival chance. I loved the comparison of someone who's so scared to die, and is, like, looking for, like, he's like, please call my sister. I haven't talked to her in years, but I, like, need someone. And then you have her who, you know, wants to die to alleviate the pain that she's causing for her family, and that contrast I thought was just so, like, so insane. That's a really standout episode for me. I think that actress performs really well when when it was required.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, there's a lot of great contrast this season between a lot of their characters.
Yeah.
Another really big one was the ICE detainee. I think
the timing of that is kind of crazy. I mean, they didn't film it that long ago, but still, just the timing of that was, I don't want to say perfect, but just, like, really well done. It just worked out really well for them, and because they did it so well, I think it was very important, especially when it came out, for sure. So.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm trying to think if there's anything to add to that conversation other than...
I mean, I hope we find out, what's his name? It's so on the tip of my tongue. The nurse that got taken away.
I do not know his name.
Oh my gosh, I'll look that up. But I hope he comes back and, like, we find out at least that he's okay. I don't know. Just some sort of follow-up with that. Because I know they said it was going to probably take the whole weekend to get him back, at least.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
Anyways, keep
And
going.
let it be known that we stand on the side that it is not okay to treat any person the way that characters were treated in that storyline.
Yep.
I
wanted to shout out Digby.
Digby.
I felt like he was one of my favorite storylines, especially at the end when Emma and them were giving him his haircut. Oh my gosh, that whole conversation, tearjerker. And then to find out that he's the one who
The one who took the mannequin was really funny.
The
ID.
tag, yeah.
Yes. No,
Jessie,
my
Nurse
gosh.
Jessie. Okay.
Jessie.
So, I thought he did really well this season too. And I hope to see what happened with his character. Please come back or something. I don't know. I just want to know you're okay.
Yeah, I would say those are. We probably named my favorites. Any others for you?
Smaller shout out, but still shout out. I want to shout out Duke.
Yes.
I thought his storyline was well done. I feel like he's a good representation of a patient that doesn't really want to be there and take his health seriously, but then his friends in attending, so he kind of like forces him to take it seriously. And I also think towards the end when he realized like that Robbie's not in a good place, maybe he did choose to take it more seriously. Like he realized not only does Robbie care about me, so he wants me to take care of my health, but like he is thinking of not being here in the near future. So like I need to let him know that I'm gonna take this seriously. And he had just a really good kind of interaction with him as well. So I don't know, he really grew on me, and I honestly hope we get to at least hear about him as well in the future. He's, I don't know, some sort of conclusion, even if maybe, you know, I know there is a chance, like he is older, so he might die. I hope he doesn't die, obviously, but I just want some sort of conclusion with that, because I thought he was a good character and he would be easy to bring back because he knows Robbie. So yeah,
Absolutely. Alrighty. I think we can go ahead and switch over to the worst parts of this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think for shows like this, we're talking basically nitpicks.
yeah. Because I think overall the writing was strong, so it's not like we're gonna say writing or anything big like that. It's just more little things.
I will say I'm gonna focus on Robbie's character for a second.
Okay.
I will say, I feel like the switch to his negative behavior felt kind of abrupt to like the halfway point.
Mm-hmm. I wish because I wonder if the intention was at some point it hit him that he was going to leave soon and was scrambling to pull everything together and make sure everyone was going to, you know, be fine when he was gone, and then start burning those bridges. But I feel like I didn't see that properly, if that was the intention. I agree, it did feel drastic to me, and it's fine if it's drastic if we're given a reason, like, oh, he's panicking now. He had that realization, I have 6 or whatever, however many hours to go, like, I need to start doing this. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're quickly spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we didn't really see that reason, so it's kind of just a guess, and that's like a guess to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So, and I'm giving them that because I do think they earned that.
It feels like they're really intentional, so
But-
it feels weird that I think it's a little less obvious
Vague,
where they're made.
yeah.
It's a bit more vague, the exact character beats for their lead.
Yeah.
I feel like it's there. I feel like I would love to see someone break down his arc through this season.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear Noah, Wiley. I'm gonna go with Wiley.
Dude, I think Wiley sounds right to me, so I don't know.
I would love to hear him talk about his character some this season, especially because it's, I think, very different from what he was trying to do the first season.
Yeah. And then I just want to negatively, shout out Monica.
Sure.
She's like a nurse that doesn't even work there, didn't even get paid for the time we had to watch her. But she came in to just help them out when they went analog, because we've heard about her character where she kind of was forced into retirement or forced herself or whatever because she couldn't adjust to the technology changes, advancements, whatever. And you know, she was fine at first. She didn't really like shine in like a positive or negative way. She was just there and helpful. And then she had that interaction with Javati and had the whole internet being like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here. We don't want to see you anymore." What a nasty, nasty woman. So glad she left. Not far after that. I hope I don't see her again. And I'm sorry to that actress. It's not your fault. I have no idea who you are in real life. So I'm not gonna judge you because I don't know you. You're just your character. I hope I never see you again.
I will say it feels like, considering I think she had like 2 or 3 lines adjacent to that. It felt weird that never really came to anything. Considering I don't think the show loses anything if she doesn't say those 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting that nothing
I don't know. I feel
came
like
of it in any fashion.
I don't know. I feel like it's good representation.
It's
of,
real. It's a real
yeah.
thing for sure.
Plus, people were pointing out once they saw that and it was so shocking to them. They were like, "Oh, I went back and I saw that she was like chatting up the ICE agent. Like, that's actually like it makes sense. I just didn't catch that on the first watch. So I didn't know." Same here. I did not catch that until somebody pointed that out.
Okay.
So the signs were there. They were just subtle.
Sure.
Which was interesting. But I don't know. I liked that it allowed Javati to have more moments, because I feel like not only with Monica but also with Robbie, she had just like older people kind of judging her and assuming that she had bad intentions for certain things. Obviously Monica was calling her a snowflake for not wanting her to use an offensive word. And then Robbie was assuming the worst with her TikToks until he was told by somebody else to watch them and give them a chance. Then he came around. But I think as frustrating as that is, that's important representation, that a lot of people treat the like Gen Z workforce in a hostile way, just even with like no reason. So, you know, there's been a lot of articles about Gen Z people wanting to work the time that they're paid for and leave after that and not do anything extra, which should be like common sense, but so many people have just allowed mistreatment that it's become almost, oh, they're like nasty and irresponsible for that, for just like doing what their job description told them to do. So I kind of like that representation and like that that's being touched on more. How, and like with Joy leaving, like when she was supposed to leave, like, oh, you could stay and help out. Even Monica was saying that to Emma after she got assaulted by a patient. I'm like, this is actually really good representation of how ridiculous it is for them to act like that. Like, no, I got like choked. I'm going home and coming back tomorrow. It's honestly great that she didn't quit, because she had every right to after that. So, but I love Joy just being like, nah, I'm out, bye. I kind of love that, because, and I like that. I feel like most of the internet, or at least my side of the internet, was like, I'm sure people are complaining about that, but I think that's so real and valid, and more people should do that. Like,
I mean, my thought is, especially if you're, I don't know, it feels like you have to have some kind of system in place where, like, you're passing off patients, and, like, if you're passing off patients, you have to have some kind of file or something for those patients that you've been taking care of all day. So whether they checked out or not, someone else should be able to put this into the system, whether that is analog or that is digital.
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird that there's a patient handoff system, but not if they're, like, done or moved out of there. But that feels interesting.
I will say it was frustrating to see how long they had to some of them had to stay after their shifts to finish charting. I will say I kind of want to see them touch on that more next season when they didn't have to go analog and put everything electronically. That would obviously be an exception. That doesn't happen very often. So I think that would be reasonable to stay after. Like, this happens hopefully like never, but it did. But it seemed like even despite that, they had to stay after to chart a lot. Like, that was an expectation, which I think is a shame. And because I think they're doing work, they should be getting paid for that. So I hope they continue to touch on that more when it's just normal and they don't have some big event that causes them to have more work. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Pay your workers for the work they do.
Crazy concept.
Whitaker. Okay, first off, he's thriving this season.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the workplace.
He no longer has to get new scrubs every single episode.
That was a great bit, though.
Love that for him.
I
he
really
had a great
like
haircut this season. Ooh la la.
I really like him kind of stepping into where Robbie was last season.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely, like, people are pointing out, he's definitely the new Langdon's in Langdon's absence. Like,
sure.
Robbie has taken him under his wing. So.
I think I like that I totally clocked last season that farmer girl was, like, shooting him eyes in that weird scene. I was like, Whitaker, you're about to be invited to that farm for, like, a threesome.
Dude, and I love that people are pointing out, that nobody has a problem necessarily with the fact that he's clearly playing house with this girl. They just want him to admit that, and he's not. And it's like, the whole season, everyone's like, you're playing house with this girl. He's like, no, I'm not, but the audience hasn't seen that one way or another. And then we do, and we're like, she's making you drive after a 12-plus hour shift. You're playing house with this woman. Please admit that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
It's only wrong if you don't realize
if you're
that's
in
what's
denial.
happening.
Yeah. It's like, then it's weird. It's like
you're becoming this kid's, like, father figure. And, like, if you're not prepared for that, like, that's what's happening. Really... And that's going to be messy for everyone.
Yes. That's the problem, is if you're not admitting that, then eventually you're going to come to that realization that that's what's happening, because she's going to come to that realization. And then if you're not prepared to take on that role, then you're an asshole. So that's where the problem is. That's where it could get really messy. Because if she ever confronts you with that, it's like, you've been acting like my partner and my child's basically new father. Let's get married. And he's like, oh no, I didn't want that. Then you're the asshole. Because I'm like, Whitaker, you got to be careful with that. So I wonder if Robbie does go on his sabbatical, and Whitaker does stay in his house. I wonder if that will give him time to think things over.
I hope so.
I don't know. He's also playing house at Robbie's house. He's just like, I think that's
Robbie's
so funny.
like, Whitaker,
come to my cottage.
do you want the house tour?
Come to my cottage. Take care of my cottage. I won't be there. Maybe I will. But come to my cottage.
Crazy. But also, one of the weirdest scenes that I think is also just, like, I think aggressively, like, the worst, like, kind of all around, is the scene where he randomly confronts Langdon in the...
Yes, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
Like, he wasn't being rude. He wasn't being condescending, like, at all.
It's just, like, having a conversation with you.
I'm like, what on earth triggered you? You didn't even seem that mad on behalf of Santos. It's like, I guess you're attempting to, like, defend her, but it's coming out of nowhere.
Or there's some, like,
it's
insecurity
really
they're
bad
trying to combat, which I think is also out of the blue. Like, there could be something to be said for he, like, is
He's
kind of
called him a
taking
farmer.
Langdon's role
Oh.
in the office, and then he comes back, and like maybe there could be some insecurity to explore there.
Mhm.
But
Or
whenever
Langdon was calling him like a farm boy, so I wonder if coming from Langdon specifically that triggered him. I don't know. It just felt very weird. I saw that on the internet and thought that was weird enough. And then I was getting closer to the context of when that was happening, and I was like, oh no. At least online, I could like put my own context in. Here, it's like, this is really random and weird. And I like that the internet was like, that's not a good defense if he was trying to defend Santos.
well, but he's not even like bringing anything. Like he's just focusing on being called.
Don't pick my role.
Like-
Like what? What do you mean?
Me when someone picks my character in Mario Kart while I'm like grabbing a drink. Don't pick my role.
That's what it was giving, but I'm like, he's not even doing anything. Oh my god. Speaking of, well, do you have anything else with Whitaker?
No, other than that,
Okay.
he's perfect, and Robbie needs to find his dream
Except
guy.
for, well, he's near perfect. Except for, we're gonna ignore that scene because that was really weird. Speaking of Langdon, though, I wanted to speak a little bit on Langdon and Santos. 'Cause
Sure.
obviously, they had a dynamic this season with him coming back. Listen, I've not been Santos' biggest fan. Do I hate her? No, obviously. I don't think, she's done anything to be hated. I think she's had aggravating moments, of course. Obviously, season 1, she was supposed to come in with a lot of confidence, maybe even some ego, and be humbled by higher ups. And Langdon happened to be one of those people that was more harsh about it. And then she found out about the drug thing.
Well, but specifically, he was harsh about it because she was
Because
finding
she was onto
that
him.
she was finding the trail of him stealing from the hospital.
For sure. There's no denying that he was gaslighting her and being extra cruel to her because she was onto him. But I do think that's being pointed out. What I wanted to point out is I think people are defending her in a way, like they're saying because someone was rude to her, she's like this baby princess that could do no wrong and is just misunderstood. I don't think that's true either. I think she was an asshole to a lot of people last season, which probably greatly contributed to the fact that nobody wanted to believe her because nobody liked her. She was rude to everybody. And that's kind of like people are comparing that a little bit to Robbie with Alashimi. Like, just because he's been an asshole this season doesn't make him wrong about a situation. Like, he is still right about Alashimi. Like, she shouldn't be working until she figures out her seizures. Which is sad, of course, because we like Alashimi and he's been a jerk this season and is maybe not the kindest in his delivery with so many things. But that doesn't make him wrong in the scenario, just like it didn't make Santos wrong in her scenario. But I do want to point out that, like, I think it made sense that so many people were hesitant to believe her because she was such a jerk and because they knew Langdon for so long, so they didn't want to believe it. And then this season, she's still kind of calling people names and being mean. And then I wanted to point out how horribly she treated the deaf patient. I mean, she was a jerk to the deaf patient. She acted and treated her like she was just the biggest inconvenience. She was so over having to find an interpreter so she could communicate her health concerns. God forbid. That rubbed me extra wrong because that's like personal for me, I would say, with how, like, I know a lot of sign language and I've worked very closely with a lot of deaf people. So I feel like I take that more personally than the average viewer would. So I just want to point out, I don't hate her, but she has done some bad things as well and has not been the kindest character and should not be defended in that way. Anyways, that's where I wanted to start the conversation. And then how do you feel about how her and Langdon kind of both dealt with each other this season?
Starting on that point, because I think that's like maybe one of the most like complex situation in like the social aspect of the show.
Yeah.
Specifically them. And I think there's also something to be said this season that, because in the last season, Langdon was like being like, if you don't buck up and lay this off, you don't belong here, threatening her career. Here you have Al Hashimi doing something, obviously not with bad intent, but like if you don't keep up with your charting. Then you'll have to like redo this year again or something. Yeah. So here she has basically that energy through this day again.
Yeah.
The same day he comes back. And I think that there is something to be said. I think even you breaking down what that situation looks like of he was a nice guy, so no one believed that he did the wrong thing, and the woman who's more unlikable isn't believed. I can think of like 3 huge social situations where that's the case, and people are getting injustice because of that.
Yeah.
I think in her case, I don't think she owes forgiveness to Langdon.
Absolutely not.
He did break the law. If the hospital knew that, he would not be allowed back here.
Yeah.
And
because it's not the substance abuse that he would get fired for, it's the stealing from the hospital
yes.
that he would get
and then
fired
borderline,
for.
He'd be probably blacklisted from any other hospital.
Because the hospital does know about his substance abuse. They don't know that he was stealing from the hospital.
I think that can easily be misinterpreted as her judging him for his substance abuse and not from robbing from the hospital.
Well, and I think she has every right to be angry with him and never forgive him, because he did treat her very poorly last season. Just because he's recovering and much nicer this season doesn't take away from that.
And actually, that's something I want to point out. Langdon was like not to her after she was on to him, but he was a really nice guy to everyone.
Yeah.
Which I think ties a lot into that, like, you know, there's a lot more forgiveness to go around for handsome white men than anyone else.
I will say the only part that I really had a problem with her is when she let it get in the way of treating patients.
Sure.
I think at the end of the day, you have to be professional. You do not you do not have to like who you're working with. In fact, you can hate who you're working with. Plenty of people have jobs where they hate their coworkers. At the end of the day, especially when your job is to save lives, you have to put that aside enough to do your job. And at the point she was fighting and having it get in the way of patient treatment, that's when it becomes a big deal. That's where I have a problem. I have no problem if she never forgives him and is never nice to him. She doesn't have to be. But you gotta, like, do your job. You gotta be professional, okay? But I could totally understand the bad blood there.
There's also...
And I also want to point out that they did have a very intentional scene that I hope they touch on more later. That she has, like, cuts on her leg, like, quite a lot, to the point where it's definitely intentional. So I wonder what they do with that in the future, because they didn't do anything with that this season.
They also have her really representing, like, she's a real champion for children that she thinks
potentially are abused.
And I think during season 1 they semi-confirmed that she was in some kind of situation like that. So I'd hope that they're intentional with that if they are going to explore that more. I really like Santos as a character. I think she adds, like, almost like the perfect amount of, like, gruffness to this, like, circle of characters. And also, unfortunately, I'm a sucker for a
Santana
mean
kind of character.
lesbian.
Yes. No,
Um,
I knew you would like her because you love Santana, which I have my problems with Santana too.
I don't know. I like that characters are allowed to be messy, especially queer characters. I think you see a lot of like textbook representation of characters, and it's like they have to be sweet and nice and like a person, and they have to be like an upstanding person. And I don't know. I like when representation's allowed to be messier and real.
I don't know. I've seen people point out that there's like a mean lesbian trope that's happens quite often in shows.
That's
I think
fair.
that's interesting. Because I feel like the more people point it out, I'm like, that actually does happen quite a lot. Even like, what's her face? What's the other lady?
The surgeon?
Yes.
I don't remember her
Ooh,
name.
I
know the
forgot
surgeon.
Garcia.
Also in the originals.
Also in the originals, which is crazy, the vampire show. So I don't know. That's interesting. And I
you know
think
what? That's a good point. 2 in the same show.
yeah. I don't know. I've had my problems with Mean Girls in high school and middle school. So I'm not so she's a baddie for that. I'm more so no, she's just a jerk. But anyways, that's my different opinion.
Switching gears to the patient who's deaf.
Mhm.
So I feel like we maybe talked a little bit about this when those episodes were fresher.
Yeah.
But is there anything like socially unwell about just like communicating via like writing?
I mean, obviously that's not ideal, but it's better than just ignoring your patient because you can't find an interpreter for them. Obviously getting an interpreter is ideal, but if that's not able to happen because technology issues and then staffing issues as well, it's not like there is an abundance of interpreters available, especially not on the fly. But using Princess as much as they could because she knew a little bit of ASL was a good idea. But then you also could have tried writing things down. Again, not ideal, but anything's better than just letting her sit there and
Like,
suffer.
especially if she's here in the ER. It felt very...
Yeah. And, with how busy they were, clearly, like, she was ready to be seen. So whatever was happening was bad enough to have her be in there versus in the waiting room still.
I don't know. Like, that what I say is maybe also... Like, it feels weird that there wasn't, like, a line to explain why they weren't trying that. Like, because people who are deaf can still read. Like, and you're here in the ER, you're trying to get beds open. Like, it feels weird to not try something else. Especially when you see, like, we talked about how you have to be super adaptable in this environment. And the idea that, like, for all intents and purposes, she's regarded as good in this environment. It feels weird that that's not tried.
Yeah.
And if it is...
I don't know if there's, like, potentially a liability issue with that, or if she didn't want to, but I feel like then say that.
Yeah.
That's all we want. It's
like I think there's a lot of lack of intent in that whole part of that plot line. And I think that does create a detriment to that for me.
Because I loved the representation of not only her, but how many struggles can occur with just trying to communicate with her. Like last season, I feel like they did a good job with the one patient where she was speaking a different language and they couldn't figure out what it was. I thought that was really well done. And this one, it's like they tried to do that, but it wasn't as well executed, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I agree. This felt like maybe one of the sloppier plot lines.
And it sure did not help my thoughts about Santos when she was so mean to her. Like, oh my god, girl. Anyways.
Looking through other issues. Ogilvy had a rough entrance, and I will say Joy had, I think, kind of a non-presence until she had a major presence.
Yes, until the Oh, I have a photographic memory. That even before
There was a
that,
couple
she had
things
some
before
moments.
that.
Yeah.
There was like I think there was a patient she like stepped up with. It might have been Louis.
I don't remember. But then I know that she also had a scene where she's like, where he answered a question that was asked for her. She's like, I didn't know your name was Joy. Popular name. No,
She has some fun sass.
with small things like that started to add to her character. It just took a while to get there. And then, of course, the photographic memory scene, you're like, oh, she's a baddie. And that she left on time. You're like, I love this girl, and I hope we hear about her. I don't, she's been very clear she did not want to be in the ER. She's just, you have to at some point, rotations. I hope we, see her a little bit in the future at some point. And then, yeah.
Ogilvy. First off, can we talk about what a perfect name for this character?
Yeah. And then I like that they were calling him Tall Whitaker at some point.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my god.
No, I love that the internet called him that before the show did.
Yes. I thought that was really funny. No, he was supposed to be a jerk, and he was a jerk, and he kind of reminded me a little bit of early Santos, but he was worse than her for sure. She just was a mean girl, but I feel like from what I remember, didn't let it get in the way professionally. I feel like he was his ego was starting to get in the way of his job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he did not have the best time there, which was intentional. Again, there are going to be plenty of healthcare workers out there that unfortunately do not have empathy like they should, and just are there because they think I'm so smart and I'm great at this job. I really like his moment with Dr. McKay going after the one lady.
The woman in the park.
Yes. Dr. McKay, speaking of worst parts, did not have a lot to do this season.
No, I agree. I was looking at who kind of rise and fell.
Mm-hmm.
She, I think, is a big one who kind of lost their own stuff, and she had a lot to do last season with her kid, with the ankle monitor.
Yeah.
I think she still does great work here.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I don't know, Mel almost got her treatment this season, which I'd love to see Mel get more stuff. I don't know. I think it's, as long as we circle back to her at some point, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to keep her busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she had some small moments, but I do feel like her biggest was with Ogilvy. Anyways, with the woman in the park, which was great. I loved how empathetic Dr. McKay was. And teaching, and then standing up to Robbie when Robbie was being a jerk about it. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe he was mad because they were so busy and she was leaving to take care of someone. But it's well, that person might have died if she didn't go out there. And also, it was a really good teaching moment for Ogilvy that he really needed at that point before he took his lack of empathy too far. He already kind of did with some comments, but yeah. I don't know.
No, for
and
sure.
then, obviously he's in a much different place
By the end of it.
By the end, so we'll see next season. I wonder if we will see him again. If we do, where he'll be.
He's on the perfect precipice where it's it makes sense if we see him again or we don't.
Yes, I agree.
Which is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, completely switching gears, but I did not mention him at all in my best parts. Oh my god, Dr. Abbott.
Oh.
I did not understand. I thought he was fine in the first season, but I whenever people were talking about him being Emmy nominated, I was like, who in the pit? But oh my gosh, I so get it this season. Yeah. And this and Ready or Not 2 coming out at the same time. Sean Hannity, take your bow. You're having a moment.
He's so slutty in both things. I love it. But he loves it. He's gonna be, I don't know if you heard, he's gonna be on the Quinn app, which is I'm so sorry if this is an incorrect description, but as far as I'm aware, it's audio porn. Hudson Williams and Connor Story did one together not long after. You're oh my god, I'm looking this up. QUIN.
Click.
or like erotica or something. I don't know. Audio stuff. He's doing like a Yes Chef one. Does that not like?
That's
oh
like
my god!
perfect casting.
No.
Why is he not in The Bear?
Why is he not in The Bear? When I heard Yes Chef and I didn't see the Quinn thing, I was like, he's gonna be in The Bear. I have to watch it now. Well, I haven't seen season 4. I have to catch up now. And then that, and I'm like, wait, yes, but also needs to be in The Bear. He needs to be called cousin or call other people cousin. Like, please. Yeah. So he's happy about it, and people are shipping him and Mohan, and he's all for that. He talked about, they're like, what's gonna happen now that she's not in next season? He said he will find her wherever she goes, and I'm like, sir?
Okay, I fear that after Ready or Not sounds terrifying.
Oh my god, but I just love, he's so like Hudson Williams, where he's like
He has
proud
a really
of
fun
being
energy.
the slut. Yes, I love it. So anyways,
And you can be sexy at any age, sir.
no, I can't. I have like multiple edits of him in that one episode where he's like, I'll pay for it. Yes, sir.
No, I think I
Anyways.
recently saw that like Uber like posted like a picture of that screenshot, and it was like, I know that's right.
Clock it. Oh my gosh.
Oof.
So
Alrighty.
Nothing.
Anything else to add on season 2? We talked a lot.
Yeah, we talked a lot. So maybe it's
Something, you know
time.
what? We were talking worst parts. I don't think I ever actually got to that point. I mentioned a little bit. I feel like most of the ensemble performances of like the patients, I feel like they didn't stand out to the extent that I think season 1 did. Like I think season 1 they had a really great cast that really had situations for the patients to really kind of shine as their own actors.
Yeah.
I think the plots were all written really well for this season. I don't know if it gave a lot of actors a lot of room to kind of have their own thing going on. Maybe that's a trade-off to have more room for the like doctors and nurses to have their own thing. I think that's another kind of trade-off you have, similar to who gets more plot lines. I think that's just interesting. Like I remember when people were talking about award season for season 1, they were like, some of these patients maybe need to be in this conversation.
Like the mom and the dad in that one episode, or those few episodes last season. Yeah.
And I feel like, and obviously that conversation hasn't
overdose.
started yet, but I feel like I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
be a
don't
little
know.
bit more surprised if there's a lot of talk like that for this
Yeah.
season. I think they did great. I just think what the show chose to focus on left less room for those kind of performances.
Yeah, I agree. I did want to ask though, since we're on the topic, if you had to pick maybe one person in each category. So
Ooh,
that's
I love
main
this.
actor, supporting, guest. One person in each. You can't pick more than 2, I think. I would say. I think that makes it more fun. You just have to put someone in each category.
Sure.
Now, it's hard because, like, there's some where, like, I want to put Dana in main actress, but then, like...
But she's already been in the supporting category.
I know, but then it's like, she could get moved to main actress, but then you're going to have to go against Zendaya and some others, and some pretty big actresses, so I don't know. I think you could still put her there, it just makes her chances a little less likely, although... She was not a front runner in a lot of people's minds before the Emmys. I think people were shocked that she won, not disappointed, but shocked that she won the Emmy because she was against like some White Lotus people and like there was competition. So I don't know. Maybe moving her to main actress is not as crazy as we think. Maybe? I don't know. Sorry, you go first.
No.
Though.
I think Noah Wiley is going to be nominated for supporting.
Yeah.
Do I think he'll win the season? I don't
know.
Obviously, we haven't seen a lot of the performances that'll
Yeah.
be in this realm yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this performance, it's hard to compare performances of the same character, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to make as big a splash as last season. I think last season
Yeah.
was newer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were doing something very different with the Pit,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of the allure of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that his character does have waves of unlikability throughout this season,
Yeah,
and like we
for
said, at some points it can be perceived as jarring.
Yeah.
I think he'll get the nom. I don't think he's a shoo-in for a win by any means.
I think we'll have to see who ends up being nominated, who he's against. But me personally, if I had to pick, just like if I was the one person deciding who won, I would love if Sterling K. Brown won for Paradise season 2.
I thought he was so underrated for season 1.
I agree.
I would love to see that switch up for season 2.
I agree.
He's such a talented actor. I feel like he does not get nearly the recognition that he does. Him and oh my gosh, he was in American Fiction also with Sterling K.
Jeffrey
Brown.
Wright?
Jeffrey Wright, two I think
Yeah.
very underrated actors who do such great work in everything they're in.
I agree.
Oh,
So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I would put him there, but I don't know quite, at least this early on, if he's a shoo-in.
last year I think I like once we watched it I was
yeah.
like obviously, but I don't feel obvious here.
Yeah.
Okay, so supporting.
Supporting actor.
We'll start with actor. So
I have a very obvious one.
I think okay.
Although there's two good ones.
I think there's two really good ones, and I think let's see if we're thinking of anyone else. I think that's
3, 2.
Langdon and Abbott.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was gonna do a 3, 2, 1, but okay.
So sorry.
No, yeah, that was my 2 as well.
I think Langdon still would have been deserving of a nom for last season.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been a crazy timeline at all if he got any noms for that. This season I think is even more deserving.
I agree.
But I think, unfortunately, like we were just saying, Sean Hattasey is having a moment right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if that
I
continued
agree.
to roll.
I think he's having more of a moment, and he shines more because he's just more fun. And therefore, I think he has a better chance of a nom and maybe even win, depending on who ends up there. However, I would say Langdon has the better performance, but it's more subtle. I don't know, it's hard because I think they both do really well. Obviously, Langdon is in the show more because he's in the whole season, versus Abbott comes in bits and pieces.
And you know what else I gotta say about Abbott? He doesn't have that weird scene with Whitaker. Double homicide, I'm afraid.
You know what? But that's not even Langdon's fault.
He was like, no.
No, I think Abbott has a better chance, but I would love to see if Langdon gets
Langdon get a nom.
Yeah, I agree.
I would love to see that. I think Sean Hattasey will get a nom.
Yeah, and I don't
and
think...
he's up in the running right now, I think, for sure.
And I really don't think that they would split each other's votes. I think they're two very different performances, and I do ultimately think that Abbott would have more votes and a better chance. So I think it'd be fine. And then any possible guest? I want to say Dr. Cruz. I think he would count, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
He
trying
doesn't
to think
make a
of-
super lasting impression, though, other than it's just great to see him doing
Yeah.
solid work here.
I'm trying to just kind of think of people who could even count. Like, I don't even think Nurse Jessie would count because I think he's in it too much. Digby, same thing. Duke,
Yeah.
same thing. Like, it's hard.
It's really
'cause
hard.
I need to look up their very specific guidelines for that. Because as far as I'm aware, you can't be in more than one episode. So if I'm
Most
right about
patients
that.
are at least in 2, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
It's hard. So, I don't know.
So I don't know on that, but I would love to switch to supporting actress.
I agree. Well, let's do lead actress first. I guess are we in agreement that we would maybe put Dana there?
I think, unfortunately, the show has a main character. His is the only face on the poster.
Yeah, but
If there
Then
is a
it's-
lead, it would be her.
then I really want Alashimi to get supporting actress, and I want her to win. But if Dana's there, I think Dana would win. And I think they're both great, but it's like I wish they could shine in their own categories. That's what I like, kind of like the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
Sure.
Like, I do think Cynthia was more of a lead, but it's very much a dual movie. So some people were like, should Ariana even be in supporting. But I feel like it's that kind of situation where it might cost Dana an Emmy maybe, or lessen her chances. But I don't want two queens to be pitted against each other.
I agree, but I don't know. I don't know how likely I feel like for the awards body, I don't know if they'd move up that classification.
I agree.
Like,
ultimately.
I feel like if once you start nominating someone, unless you like restructure the show around them, I don't think you're gonna move up from supporting the lead.
I agree. Ultimately, even if I'm like, ugh.
It would be awesome. I would love for both of these people to get recognized. I think if I had... Okay, so if we're looking at a pick for supporting actress, I think I go Hal Hashimi.
Me too. I also want to shout out Dr. Mel King.
Mel does such good work.
I agree. I would love if she... I mean, this could be a White Lotus situation where maybe a lot of them get noms. However, I'd be scared that it'd be a White Lotus situation and none of them win. So that's what's hard is
but I'd probably go directly in that order. I'd go Al Hashimi, Dana, and then Mel. But amazing performances from all three of them.
I agree. And then I don't know about guest actors because it's like, do any of them even count? I don't know.
Yeah, it's brutal out here. But amazing performances. Maybe while we're on awards talk, where do we think it has a chance to sweep again, kind of the way it did, like in Best Drama, Best Ensemble at the Actor Awards?
I don't know.
I think it's still going to be a very strong contender, at least for Ensemble,
I agree.
which is essentially also Best Picture. I don't know if it for sure wins. Obviously, it's very early.
Again, I would love if Paradise got some more recognition. I don't know this early on if it will, because it sure didn't last season. So I'm trying to think realistically. I do think it is still the front runner right now, as far as I'm aware. It's not like there's going to be a new Severance season. Hacks is going to be in comedy. If Only Murders or The Studio happen to come out in the time frame, which I don't think they are, but even if they do, that's
that'll be comedy.
So yeah, it's that and Paradise. I think If All Her Fault was big, but that's limited. His and Hers, Something Very Bad is going to happen. Both of those are limited, and those are being talked about. So I don't really know its competition right now. I feel like I'm blanking on stuff because
I'm not.
It's too early for. It's too early for a Euphoria talk. Plus, I think that's been controversial enough that I don't even know what that's gonna look like this early on.
I'm gonna call it. I think Zendaya is the only one that possibly gets recognition from it.
I agree, but I mean, it is pretty early, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, I agree. This early on, she's the only one that I'm like, I'm sure she's still gonna get a nom, and I think she should. Anything else, even like Best Drama, I think it's too early for that.
I don't know, man.
We'll have to see. Give us the whole season first, and then we'll see.
Rad. Anything else, or do we jump to season 3?
No. We're a little long on time, so maybe, do you want to just kind of shout out some other shows? Well, I mean, we already shouted out Paradise.
Yeah, we can quickly shout them out. We don't have to rank them.
I also think I'm forgetting about Bridgerton. This season of Bridgerton has been talked about very highly, I will say, and that is drama.
It is drama.
So, actually, that may...
You know what?
That may get to shine in certain places here.
I would love if that was more of a contender.
I mean, past seasons, they've gotten some acting noms and of course, creative noms, like for costumes and hair and stuff. So, yeah, I think that could
be fun.
Come back here. I also have Wonder Man, and then Daredevil Born Again Season 2 has been talked about highly, and Marvel shows have gotten some noms. I don't think, acting-wise, especially, like, they're gonna get any wins.
Although, let me tell you, I would love for Vincent D'Onofrio to get some recognition for his amazing work.
But I think craft categories they could get in some, and then of course Paradise. I just hope that does better this time around. I think it deserved better last time, and I think season 2 is like just as good as season 1, if not even a little better. So, anyways.
The 5 shows I wanted to shout out from 2026 so far, I have One Piece Season 2,
Mine as
Wonder
well.
Man, Bridgerton Season 4, Paradise Season 2, and The Pit.
That's my 5. Anyways, if that was in order, I don't think it was the same order, but yes, that's my 5 as well. Okay,
That's funny.
slay. One Piece Season 2, I don't know. I'll have to look up if Season 1 did anything at the Emmys.
Oh, I don't
have
think
no
so.
idea.
I mean, maybe craft, but
Yeah.
certainly not anything,
Acting.
like, none of the major awards that they present.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I would expect for Season 2 as well.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like, TV shows are kind of in full swing right now, which is really fun to see. For a while, it was really just, like, maybe those, like, top 3 shows for a second. But now we have Invincible, we have Daredevil, we have...
Even The Boys is doing better than last season.
Yes.
Already. I mean, we'll see, but I'm watching The Artful Dodger right now, which not a lot of people are talking about, but some people are talking about. Hacks Season 5 is coming out right now. We're gonna catch up on that eventually, guys. I promise. But yeah,
TVs are finally in
stuff.
full swing. I
Mhm.
can't wait for movies to follow.
Yeah.
But TVs, we
kinda
have a lot of
killing
big
it.
things coming out right now.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. I think we can go ahead and wrap up our conversation for this episode. That has been our episode on The Pitt Season 2. Please let us know, what do you think of The Pitt Season 2? Let us know in the comments below. If you've made it this far, we also would love to see a like if you've enjoyed us so far. There's a lot of other shows for us to talk about, so let us know what you're watching. And we'd love to have a conversation with it with you. Anyways,
great.
thank you guys. I'm your host, Luke.
I'm your host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.